Hey guys, welcome to another video. In today's episode we're going to do a oil change in a air compressor. Okay, so this is the compressor that we're going to do the oil change on. So I've had it since 2009 and I've got to say I haven't done an oil change in it since, or checked the oil level, to be honest. So I'm pretty slack in that department, but it's been going well ever since. If we take a look at the oil level indicator, now I don't know how well you can see that, but that's the sight glass for the oil level there. Now you probably notice that it's got a black coating over the sight glass. Now the oil level should be just over the red dot, but because there's a black film coating on the inside of that glass, I don't know how much oil is actually in there at the moment. Okay, and if we go over to the workbench here, this is the oil we'll use for the oil change, and I've just purchased a replacement air filter for the compressor. Well, let's look at getting started. Okay, we'll just get this pulled out so we've got a bit more space and light to work on, and we'll make a start. Going to need some tools, so I'll grab one oil pan, grab that, and I'll grab that funnel. 21mm. Now the oil level sight glass here doubles as the oil plug for draining the oil out of the motor here. Now what I want to do is come up with a solution that collects this oil that we drain out as cleanly as possible. So I thought we could use a ice cream container lid here and just sort of fold it in a way that it'll catch the oil like that, and then we can just connect the funnel at the end of it and that'll just run into the drain pan below. So this is the oil collection jig that we've just made up here. Now, a pretty simple idea. So you got the oil plug up the top here, oil drains into the ice cream container lid, runs down into this funnel and into this oil pan here. So nice simple idea, and hopefully it'll do the trick. Okay, the next process is we want to run the motor and we want to warm it up. So the reason we do that is that the oil is thicker when the motor is cold, and when the motor is warm the oil is a lower viscosity. So basically we want to get as much of the old oil out of the motor as we can, so that's why we warm it up. Another thing we're going to do is on the bottom of this compressor is a drain. So the drain hole is just used to drain out any moisture in the compressor tank. So air contains moisture and it just condensates inside the tank and collects over time. So we'll also do that. Okay, we'll just get this warmed up and then we'll make a start on draining the oil. Okay, we'll make a start just removing this oil drain plug. You just want to loosen the plug and you can do the rest just using your finger. I'll just undo this just in case it creates air lock. Okay, it seems to be working well, no mess, and it's just draining straight into the oil pan. So I'm just tilting the motor forward just to get as much of that oil out as I can. So I've given it enough time for draining. I think that's as much oil that we're going to get out of it. Now the drain plug that we've just pulled out, or sight glass, I'm just going to squirt a bit of engine degreaser into the middle there and just let it soak. Right, we'll get on to changing the air filter on the compressor. I think this will be the easiest part of the process here. So we'll just open this up. Okay, that's the replacement one, so it's exactly the same as the one fitted on the compressor. Actually, this one's a little bit bigger, but it should still be okay. So you just want to nip it up, you don't want to over tighten it and strip any threads. Okay, and we'll just see how clean the sight glass is now. So I'll tip that. Oh yeah, I can already see through it, so that has cleaned it up. You can at least see through it now. Now one thing you need to be careful of is degreaser when you're putting it back into the motor. You don't want it to break down the new oil. So what we'll do is we'll just squirt a bit of CRC oil in there just to clean it up before we fit it back to the compressor. And then we can just let that sit for a couple of minutes just to dry. Now I'll just dry the excess off. I'll just clean the seal up a bit too. Okay, the CRC has dried up in this and we can just fit that back in. So we'll just screw this. Now it's got a rubber washer on it. Basically you're just wanting to nip that up, you don't want to over tighten this. So that'll probably do that. I can keep an eye on it once we get oil in there. Right, we'll make a start on this oil change. So we're going to need oil and a funnel. I normally just give these a wipe out because they can get full of dust and dirt and you don't want that going into your motor with the new oil. Just make sure there's nothing caught on the end of that. Okay, that's pretty clean. So I'm not sure how well you can see this, but the oil line is just above the red dot. So the next step here is we're just going to drain the water out of this air tank here. Now for me to fit this container underneath, I'm just going to prop this compressor up. Right, so we'll just fit this container under here and we're going to drain this of water. Air will come out of here as well. I was trying to be tidy here, but that's just made a mess on the carpet. Never mind, it's just old carpet anyway. Oh well, that's left a nice stain on the carpet. All the oil change is done. Just close that tap again for the drain. Okay, that's another job done. Hopefully you've learnt something from this video and seen what's involved in changing the oil in an air compressor. Now the process isn't too hard, to be honest, it's just a little messy as you've seen. Another thing too, just reading the maintenance part of this manual here, it states that the oil should be changed every 50 hours. and I misread that. I thought it was every 11 years. But taking that into consideration, this unit's done pretty well. Okay, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video. I've got a carpet cleaning job to do. See you next time.